Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Chamber Podcast. My name is Grant LaFave, filling in for Rob Johnson here as we talk about local business with a member of our local business community and a Chamber member. We are talking with Dr. Maria Lyons from the Den Chiropractic here in Brighton. Doctor, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. We're excited that you're here, and partly selfishly because I have a lot of questions about chiropractic for you. So
I have all the answers.
Perfect. Awesome. This is going to go well. So talk about, we joked about this before the podcast, going into the Lyons Den. Talk to me about how you named your business and how you're branding it, and just kind of give me the rundown on what you do.
I love what I do, and I want to make it as part of my family as much as possible. And of course, my last name is Lyons, not spelt like the animal lion, but I thought it was a really cool thing to start with a branding when I went out on my own business. That way, people who are looking for me, where's Dr. Lyons? Where can we find her? At the Den Chiropractic. That's the whole idea.
I love it. I love it. And talk about your background as well, because I understand you were a patient before you became a chiropractor. So talk about how you were introduced to that world.
I was a mother of two, a busy wife, mother, and student as well. And I was go until one day after I had my second child. I think she was about 9 months old. So I had a 2-year-old and a 9-month-old. My body started falling apart. And it was one thing after another. It started with headaches, aches and pains up and down my back, different hip problems, knee problems, foot problems, vein issues, as many things as you could think of. I had a long laundry list of issues. So when I went to my regular doctor, he had told me, I don't understand what's going on. There's nothing that I can find. Let's send you to some specialists. One specialist after another really came to a dead end. And I was left with the option of give up, find something else, or try a narcotic medication, which at that time I wasn't comfortable with because I needed to function to raise my children and, live my life. So my mother actually asked me to try chiropractic, which she had always been to a chiropractor during my entire life, but she didn't take all of us kids because I came from a very big family. Couldn't fit us all in a car. And, of course, at that time, if you didn't complain of any aches and pains, you didn't go. So she had gone and she urged me to go, and she had gotten me in with her chiropractor after I left my last appointment with a specialist who was a neurologist. And they got me in right away. They adjusted me a couple of times. And by the end of that first week, I noticed some things were dissipating. So I had gone into regular care and did what they told me to do. After about 3 months, I really started to notice I was changing and becoming back to normal where I was beforehand. And then I met a different chiropractor who actually urged me to go to school for it, saw the potential of me being on one side and coming out on the other side, and the fact that I was already in school in the healthcare field, reaching towards something as well. And long story short, I went to Life University, and here I am. I came back out on March 2019, started working April, so a month later, and I haven't stopped since.
Excellent. So I guess what has the experience been like going from a patient to more of a caregiver, and not as a caregiver, sorry, a practitioner in that role?
It's been an all-around experience, because not only have I been a patient who has had like every symptom you could possibly imagine and come out of that on the other end, because I don't have any symptoms now. I'm completely pain-free. I feel great. I've got all my energy back. But I also had time raising other families. So I got to spend a lot of time with children. I also worked in the school district with special needs children. So I have a lot of comfortability with different types of people and different types of personalities, which I think gives me an edge on things. So when, a child comes in and they don't want to get on the table, there are ways to do that. So my life experience has drawn me in to be a better doctor and be able to reach different ages and different types of people because of the different things I've learned.
Excellent. And let's talk about that. I know it's not just one type of chiropractic care that's available at the Den. So talk about, I know there's some offerings for athletes specifically, for pediatric. Talk about some of the different sects that there are.
Okay. So I practice about 4 to 5 different techniques, and I like to mix them up depending on the patient. I am certified in activator methods, which I believe I'm the only doctor in Livingston County that is, which means you use a tool. It's a tool that looks kind of like, it looks like a mini pogo stick, honestly, to me. It was developed by a chiropractor and a dentist a long time ago to be able to adjust specific segments per pound per square inch. So you can turn it down and adjust a baby. You can adjust somebody with osteoporosis, or you can get to teeny tiny little bones that you can't normally get to very easily with your hands. And there's a really cool method to find out what needs to be adjusted using the neurology of the body. So it's really, really neat. Also, there are different tables that you can use that would create a drop, which means a different type of technique, maybe something called Thompson. You can use your hands to adjust a lot of things. You can put people in chairs. Babies, sometimes you can just use your fingers with very light pressure. So it's really cool to mix it all up, because nobody wants to go and get the same old adjustment every single time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I guess talk about the activation, like why was that important to you? Because, talking about in Livingston County, you're the only person with that type of
activator methods.
Yeah, that expertise. Why was that important for you to get that?
It was important to me because when I was in school, my mother was actually an activator methods patient because she has osteoporosis. So I do work on her with a couple other techniques, but I have to be very careful in certain segments of her spine. So I wanted to learn it well so I could work on my family. And I wanted to make sure that I had an edge on the other people in the area. And as long as you stay certified, which means you take specific classes every year, and you have to pass certain tests and you're timed, everything's on a time limit. If you don't pass, you do it over. And if you don't get the proficiency rating, you don't get to be on the website, and, you have to start over and pay for everything again. So
that's motivation right there.
Yes, it is.
That's awesome. So just personal curiosity. What is the noise that makes that people's spines will make when they get adjusted sometimes, that pop? There's a whole subgenre of content dedicated to featuring those pops.
Yes.
And is that most of it? Is that part of it? Like tell me what's going on there.
It's really simple. It's a word called cavitation. And all it is a chiropractor is basically squishing the gas out of your joints. It's kind of like, like when you take the top off of a pop and all of that, built up pressure comes out. So it's the same thing. You're not cracking bones. You're just releasing pressure.
Got it. Okay. All right. So that's good. Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, that's so interesting. I had no idea what that was, but it is just that air escaping.
Yes. Yes. And sometimes it's loud, sometimes it's not. It depends on the person, depends on the day. Sometimes I'll get an adjustment that is a great adjustment, but it doesn't have a ton of noise. So, and it depends.
Now, further, a more serious question about chiropractic care, I promise. So is it meant to be preventative? Should I treat it the same way I do a doctor's office visit, a physical dentist office visit, or is it used to treat specific conditions?
Both. So let me put it this way. Do you wait for your teeth to hurt to brush them?
No.
Exactly. So you shouldn't wait for your spine to hurt to take care of it. So same thing. If you have aches and pains because of repetitive things in life, sports, stuff that's going on, injuries, then yeah, chiropractic's going to help you ease that pain. Sometimes it'll deliver all of it and get rid of it. Sometimes it just helps calm it down and helps you live your life. Also, if you get regular chiropractic care, you can do things like do heavy sports. You can run those marathons without being tired out. You can get more longevity out of your day with your job, with your house chores. I have people come in that go on vacations and are like, I haven't been adjusted in 3 weeks, but I'm doing okay because they've been under wellness care for so long. If you look it up, all of the NFL players, they have a chiropractor on staff. All of the Olympic players, they have chiropractors on staff. So they are excelling for a reason. And I think it's because they have that extra edge.
Excellent. Getting more into this, what are some things besides making appointments with you, and we'll talk more about that at the end of the episode as well. What are some things that a person can do to help their spine? I say as I sit up unconsciously as I say that. Yes. But what are some things that we could be doing every day to make things a little bit easier on our backs and necks?
Awesome. I have a lot of practical things I give people each time they come in. First thing you can do is sit as square as possible. Don't sit crooked. Don't lean to the side. Don't drive like this. Don't sit on a foot, cross your legs, those types of things. Second thing you can do is try to sleep on your back without a ton of pillows so you're not jacking your head forward. Another thing you can do with work is try to be ergonomically correct with everything, with your chair, with your computers, with anything that you're using. If you're a driver, you want to keep your head back on your headrest instead of jutting your head forward. If you're driving back and forth, you should stretch somehow every day. And the most important thing I can say is every single person needs half their body weight in ounces of water. And that's if you're not doing much. If you're active, you need more.
Every day.
Every day. Those are the things that most people get wrong when they're coming in. They're like, I don't know what I'm doing. What can I do? What's practical? So I generally check everything out. And I give people practical things that they can do on a daily basis, whether they're in a car, whether they're sleeping, whether they're at their house. That way they can always work on something in between their adjustments to extend the longevity of the adjustment.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. That makes sense. So talk to me a little bit about some of the reactions that people will have coming into your office versus leaving, some of the responses you get to your work. Talk about that.
There's one really cool thing that's been happening in the past few months. I had a teenage girl who was missing a lot of school because of chronic headaches, and her mom was just like, what do I do? Is there something that you can do? She had a few adjustments, and she's a regular patient still. She's in wellness care, which means you get at least one adjustment per week. And she has been headache free and been able to do all of the things that she wants to do for school, and she's not missing class anymore. So that to me was pretty cool because I have two teenagers of my own, and I can't imagine them not wanting to go and hang out and be with their friends. Another thing that I saw that was really neat, I had a baby come in with his mom, and he had some nerve damage from his birth. So we just started working on that and gave him some light adjustments up into his neck and gave mom some exercises to work on his neck and his arm. And he did excellent, and they have been patients ever since, and mom's under care. But the greatest thing I like to see is working with one person, and then they bring in a family member, and then they bring in a friend, and then maybe a neighbor, and then maybe a coworker. And then before you know it, you have this really cool circuit of people that you all know, and they kind of all know each other. So now I'm starting to see people walk in and like, oh, hey, how you doing? How's it been? And people are starting to talk as they're coming and going, which is community, which is what I'm looking for, which is really cool. That's the thing I really like about Brighton.
Excellent. Yeah, I was just going to ask. I was like, what is it like living and working in Brighton? Sorry, I don't know those details, but what's it like working in Brighton? What's it like being part of this community business-wise?
It's been very fortunate, honestly. The first couple months that I was in business here, I joined the Chamber of Commerce, and I ran into a half a dozen people, I would say, that were really, really nice and very forthcoming with information, and introduced me to a lot of other people. And it's helped me grow a little faster than I may have been if I just came the new girl on the street, which I am. You know, there's a lot of other chiropractors in the city, and I'm kind of the small dog or the small lion in the crew. But, you know, it's all about personality and making relationships.
Nice. Is it exciting being the underdog?
It is. You know, I'm not scared. I'm not that type of girl. So I'm all about, you know, going for whatever's out there, and everybody needs a chiropractor, and there's plenty of people in the city.
Absolutely. Lions got to eat, though.
Yeah, that's right.
That's excellent. So I guess talk about being both someone who does work with patients and then also is someone who has a mind for business as well. Like, are those two conflicting things in your brain, or is that all sort of one, like, part and parcel? How do you think about that?
I kind of break things up with different hats. Honestly, that's how my life is. Because I'm a full-time mother. I have a family at home. So when I leave after the clinic closes, I have to go home and do that until I go to bed. But business is a learning experience. I was a student for a very long time. I'm very much a mother and, you know, a family person and a doctor, but the business part has been what I'm learning day to day, week to week, month to month, because I was working with another company who, you know, I was learning from them as well. But when you're on your own, it's one day at a time, and you learn from others, which is why I really have enjoyed the Brighton community. They've been really helpful, including the chamber.
Excellent. Yeah, well, definitely happy you're having a great experience. And that's exactly the type of thing we like to see. You know, people who are building community in our community. Mm-hmm. You know, that's so important. I guess if someone is trying to reach out to you, what is the best way for them to do that?
They can go to the website. They can also use the phone number that is on the website, or through the Jane system. You can schedule online if you can't reach me, because right now it's a one-man shop. I'm answering the phone. I'm taking care of the patients. I'm doing all the paperwork. So if anybody calls, they usually don't have an issue. They just go right on the computer and schedule, or I call them back when I'm finished with a patient and I can get back to them. But all the information's there. It should be as easy as a click away.
Perfect. All right. And we'll make sure all that's in the show notes as well. So okay. Maria, thank you so much for coming on the Chamber Podcast today. We enjoyed having you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I enjoyed being here.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, that about does it for this week. We will be back. I say we, probably Rob, but who knows? And then we'll be back next time. Hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time.